Hello. Well, my point of view of the Pacific Alliance will be much on the line that the previous person has presented. I mean, it's quite dubious and not very optimistic. And I will point my presentation on the incentives that each member has. So mainly, the Alianza Pacifico is mainly a response of two trends that might be seen. The first one is this structural change of the production world map. This Asia-Pacific as worship of the world. And this increasing trade between Latin America and the Pacific that has been shown in the previous slides also brings these new whole opportunities for, especially for China, to generate supply chain around Latin America. When will this happen? Perhaps in the episode 20 of Star Wars, or in the few years, we don't know, but it's something that is expected. That is, Asia-Pacific countries, particularly China, diversifying its international investment position. And where will it be? Geopolitically, strategically, speaking, it might be in the Pacific rim of Latin America, its closeness to Brazil or to America. Okay, so this might lead, and I specify might because it's future, we might not know, that to create trans-Pacific supply chain. Okay. The second trend is this increase in middle-class income in Asia-Pacific, with special emphasis in China, that is more demand for consumer goods. And as we know, these consumer goods benefits greatly from economies of scale. So as we are bigger and we can get a lower cost for our products, we will be more competitive. So it's basically under this framework that this Alliance of the Pacific has been built on. However, and we will see, there are some issues that might be solved in order this to get concrete. Well, this is the typical graph that you might have seen already, that is China becoming quite important to Latin American countries in import and in export. Okay? But what is more important is the structure of exports. That is, if it's only commodities, if it's medium technology manufacturers, it's high technology manufacturers, and we will see that the four members have completely different structures. For instance, Mexico, well, what we see in this graph is, the list of countries, the sector according to Lao's technology, sophistication, separation, okay, which is primary goods, natural resource-based manufacturers, low manufacturers, medium technology manufacturers, and high technology manufacturers. We see the export to the world. How is it divided? Mostly Mexico has 36% to medium technology manufacturers, okay, while Colombia is around 30%, okay, in medium technology manufacturers to the world, but Peru is only 2% of its exports, it's medium technology, and Chile is like 5%. Okay, we will see that Peru and Chile has a very strong part of its exports as primary goods of natural-based resources, while Mexico and Colombia are quite more diversified. Mexico more, I mean, they have 25% of high technology manufacturers. However, when we saw the exports specifically to Latin America and the Caribbean, we see quite a different pattern. In these exports to Latin America, Peru and Chile have a strong position in low technology manufacturers and medium technology manufacturers. That is, the local market, the regional market is quite important for these countries. Okay? But when we change this to the export to Asia Pacific, it completely changed. That is, the four countries are quite, they are exporting basically natural race-based manufacturers, that is, low technology, and the ones who are very positioned are Mexico, Colombia, Peru and Chile. Most of them exports primary goods, national resource-based manufacturers. Okay, and also in the last column is the intra-industrial trade that is measured by the Global Lloyd Index. That is how much of the same product is exchanged in the same trade. That is, if I sell you TVs and I buy you TVs, okay. So for Peru and Chile, it's very, very low. I mean, in everything that is basically for its commodity export oriented export trend. While Mexico and Colombia had some numbers, although very low, but for example, 40% of Mexico in medium technology manufacturers. Okay, so this will give us also this framework of what is going on around the trade between Alianza del Pacifico members and Asia Pacific, which is this sort of what happened? Technical issue. I think someone gets mad about this and hacks the computer. Sorry? No, but
No technology has a value.
yeah.
Small is beautiful.
It's a Chinese computer.
Let's see if the PowerPoint works better. Yes.
Now
Okay, as I was saying, okay. So, well, this is basically the picture of the trade between Latin America in the Pacific Rim and Asia Pacific. Also, this is clearly when we talk about container mobilization between these countries. We will see in this graph, in the second one, we see containers with export or import cargo from and to Asia Pacific in the 2008. I got the information only for the ones in South America. I don't have it for Mexico. But we can see that for Asia Pacific, Colombia and Peru are mostly importers of containers. This might be why, well, because commodities don't tend to go on containers. Okay. However, Chile is more so in a net. I mean, they export as they import a container from Asia Pacific, and that might be due to these fresh food exports, such fruits that might go in container in reefer containers. Okay. Also, well, wine, salmon. Because as we have seen in the last slides, there's no high technology or medium technology exports quite clearly to Asia Pacific. So we see this in contrast. I mean, Mexico and Colombia with certain intensity of manufacturing capacity, while Chile and Peru don't have much of it. Okay. Also, these four countries have shown a pretty interesting degree of liberalization, as I have mentioned before, and a contrast with other Latin American countries, I mean, in trade of goods. Also, but however, as we've mentioned, supply chains, this new concept of global production relied very heavily, or in a great degree, to coordination through logistics and transport services. And it's where Chile is the country which has the better comparative advantage in transport services. They have top 20 shipping lines like CESAF and CSNE. They got land as an airline, very important in the regional flow of passengers, of air cargo. However, well, Peru, it has quite similar until the 90s. After that, after a very intense liberalization process, transport services just fell down. And, well, Colombia has been going on, but however, Chile is the one who has this comparative advantage over this Pacific Rim. So, just a final remark, we will see that, well, we chart incentives that have each of these countries, which are completely different. And this might create certain issues when talking about this alliance of the Pacific. For example, Mexico, I think they will look to diversify its exports. 80% of its exports mainly go to NAFTA. They will try to look to export to Asia Pacific.